Bigger talks. Back again with another episode. I'm so excited. I'm fulfilled. And I got a phenomenal guest. This is my guy. This is my brother from another. He don't even know it. You know, they call him Ahmad the poet. He's a writer, he's a speaker, mental health advocate, and he's the host of the Breaking the Machine podcast. But I always say he's a new age thinker. He thinks outside of the box. He shifts paradigms. He's the chosen one. He's the one and only. Ahmad, welcome to Bigger Talks podcast. How are you feeling?
My brother, I'm feeling amazing, my brother, after that introduction and just building the shit before the show, man.
Yeah,
Bro, I'm on 10 right now, bro.
I love it, man. Hey, man, it's been a journey. I want to share with the audience. I think I met you through my cousin. You anyone know in the social media world, the comedian world, D Young Show, Dante
Mm,
Young. I think he posted some of your content on his page. I'm like, damn, bro, tapped in. Like, what is
mm,
and then I started following I think one of your page. Well, I didn't even know. I think it's the ancestral plane, the
mm-hmm.
Instagram, a lot of motivation, inspirational content, viral content. And I didn't know you ran that page. And it was like creator Ahmad the Poet. I'm like, Ahmad the Poet, who's that? I was like, oh, it's bro. Like it's
Mm,
him. He's the guy. And then, we did a podcast probably like 2 years ago. And I
mm.
was just blown away by not only your age, but just your wisdom, and to everybody listening, go follow Ahmad the Poet on Instagram. Follow him. He's tuned in, he's tapped in, he's dialed in. And I promise you, the world got to catch up with his content. They got to catch up to his thinking. They got to catch up to the ideology that he has, because I feel like you're chosen. I feel like you're here for a greater reason. Not only, shift humanity and raise people's vibration, but I think, we like to consider ourselves the Black culture, the urban culture, but I feel like you beyond that, like, you're universal human. It's bigger than being Black for you and for me as well, because I don't put myself in a box. But I was inspired by your thinking, how you show up on social media, your content. I do know you're from Detroit, born and raised. So if you could give the listeners just a quick synopsis of like, who is Ahmad? Like, where did this thinking come from, and when did you start writing?
Man, I appreciate that, my brother. But I would be remiss to say that I was raised in Flint, Michigan. I know a
Yeah,
lot of my people from Flint. I'm like, he from Flint.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, but I do a lot of my work in Detroit, and I went to college in Detroit, so I've been in Detroit for the past couple of years and stuff like that. I was actually born in Alabama. A lot of my friends that I grew up with, they never believed that,
Yeah,
but I was actually born in Alabama, raised in Flint. But yeah, I do spend a lot of time in Detroit. But yeah, me, bro. I don't really know how to title myself. I definitely would say a writer, a journalist. Growing up, bro, all I wanted to do was write. So at the age of 7, I started writing short stories. And then I remember around 8 or 9, I used to just watch TV, and I thought that news anchors were just debaters. That's what I thought. I thought they
I
just
like that.
just debated all day. So I wanted to be a journalist to debate. That was the only reason. So as I got older, people told me I should be a lawyer because I like to argue. I used to get into debates. I used to get in trouble a lot back in middle school. And I would always get my way out of trouble just by the way I talk. And I know it sounds like it might make sense now, but at that time I didn't understand. Everybody like, man, you got to give, you got to be a lawyer.
Right.
And yeah, so just a writer, man, a mental health advocate, podcaster, one half of Breaking the Machine, me and my guy Spank. Yeah, that's me, man. Just trying to empower people to understand their possibilities and understand that they don't have to do one thing one way. They don't have to make the choice that the world wants them to make, man. It's about you and your movie and your moments. I always tell people that, like, one of the biggest thing that hurts us as people is because we have multiple movie scripts in our heads, man. Like,
Yeah.
dang, what would the star do in that one movie that I seen? Or what would the cool dude do in that one movie? No, what would you do? You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? How would you show up? Like,
You know?
just diving deep into what feels true to you. I know this might be a little too personal, but I remember back in my previous relationship, I had made a mistake. I did something wrong, and I had to make it right. You know what I'm saying? And it was multiple movie scripts in my head. Like, man, you make it right like the cool guy. You make it right like this. But then I had to make it right like me. And I
Mm.
showed up with some balloons, a cake, or this. I'm playing it
Yeah.
slow because you got to show up
There
like
we
you,
go.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's when this thing hit me. This idea hit me. Like, why would I ever show up as anything other than myself? Because I'm having all these scripts in my head telling me what the upstanding man would do or the cool dude would do or this. man, you got to live your truth, how you going to live it. And you got to live it to the point that it quiets the noise in your head, man. So a lot of people, we got a lot of noise in our head because we're not living the way that we want to live and the way that's true to ourselves, man. So that's what I try to teach people, man, just to empower themselves and understand that they can live any story that they want. If you want to work here, you want to do this, if you want to do that work that don't pay as much, if you want to do that, man. It's a game plan for everything. It's a game plan for every play that you want to make in life. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it one way to win the game. We all can win the game, you know?
Yeah, it's infinite possibilities. Just to piggyback off of that statement, why do you think people resist doing the things they really love, or why do they resist being their true self, their authentic self? Where is the neglect or the challenge or the barrier there for people that you see, or from your paradigm, from your perspective, for them to not be all in with themselves?
You know what's deep about that? Can't remember who I was having a conversation with, but it was probably like a year or 2 years ago. And we was talking about love.
Mm.
And oh, this is such a deep conversation. I'm trying to remember exactly the framework of the conversation. But it basically was talking about how I receive love and how sometimes growing up, we receive our parents telling us we can't do this as love, or we receive this as love. So our definitions of love is so different.
Yeah,
And that's what it is. It's what is holding us back from doing the things that we want to do is love, but it's not. It's our misdefinition of love. So it's just like, yo, if I do what I want to do, my parents is not going to support this. My people around me not going, and I love them and they love me. So since they love me, I'm going to do what they want. But that's not love.
there we go.
That's control. That's fear. Honestly, they're so scared of what would happen to them. They want you not to do it because they don't think you can do something that they can't do. It's fear. It's restriction in their own mind. Mom and dad, if you could do anything and you could be successful at it, what would you do? The answer changes then.
Yeah.
But oh man, if you could do anything in the world that we live in, you have to change the parameters. You have to get rid of all the noise and get down to, listen, I know, like you said, I'm part of the life force. I'm a God. Like,
Yeah.
I can do anything that I put my mind to. So I don't care if it's something that doesn't make the most money when you type it in on Google. I will be the most successful. I will break the trend. I will set the trend. I will be, I will go above the mark. So I think it's really just love, man. Our false understanding of love and just being held back by that. You got some people who never leave their city that they grew up in because they're afraid, or the people around them who supposedly love them are telling them, man, you got to stay here. You understand this environment. All this. It's all these love chains. You know what I'm saying? And love is supposed to set you free. And people are weaponizing love to hold each other back. People are weaponizing love. I don't want you to work that job because you're going to be around this type of person. You're going to be around that type of person. I don't want. It's so much love chains. False sense of love chains. It's just like, man, you got to let it go. So honestly, bro, it's just those chains that we associate with people that we really love. And we really love these people, our family, our close friends who've been there for us. But we got to understand when even the people that love us the most, they're operating out of a different energy, man, because nobody's perfect, man.
Yeah, and that equation you said a lot in that equation and that formula, right? And everything came back to love. And one thing I want to acknowledge is that we do things for our parents because we want them to love us, but it might go against what we love. So therefore, we set ourselves back and we set them up for failure, because even if we're successful in the thing they want, we're not fulfilled. So guess what? We're sad. They might appear to be happy, but I also want to acknowledge that there's something where they say when someone's hating on you, they're not hating on you. They're hating on you because you're doing the thing they gave up on. And this is how I know you tuned in, dialed in, tapped in, because you don't even know. I screenshotted 3 quotes from your page. So it's funny. My spirit picked one. And the first thing you said in this past equation said, my past relationship. And then you brought up love. So I'm going to read the quote to you. And I got it right here on my phone. And so I want you to unpack this quote because you wrote it February 24th of this year. Love is what you do when the pleasure ends. Love is commitment. You wrote that. And we speak on love. What does that mean, my brother?
Love is when the pleasure ends. What I meant by that, like I said, man, it was just a time in my life. I didn't really understand love at the time, bro. And I did a video on my podcast, and it tied into that direct thought of that tweet. It basically precursed that tweet. And I said, I'm trying to quote myself correct. I said that when you think it's over, what you do when you think it's over really makes it over. You
Mm,
know, speaking about love, and what you do in those moments when you think it's over really makes it over because it's not over.
yeah.
But the way you move in those moments when you think there's no love is really the moment where you kill the love. The love was still there, but you just couldn't see it. You didn't have enough faith just to be still. You didn't even have to do anything. You didn't have to apologize. You didn't have to do nothing right. You didn't have to, all you had to do was just be still and do nothing. And it would have came back around. But you did something and you destroyed love. You know what I'm saying? It could be something as simple as just leaving, man, or something simple as just blocking somebody on the phone. It don't have to be nothing that's probably in people's minds. It's just that simple, man. It could be something as simple as saying something in the heat of the moment that you didn't want to, that you shouldn't have said, but you thought the love was gone. So then when the love comes
So
around,
that's why you said it. You said it because you thought the love was gone. So therefore, the love doesn't exist because unconsciously you said something out of despite love. You said something
mhm,
that was hateful or spiteful because you
mm,
thought love wasn't there, but love never left. You put it in your
mm,
mind as it leaving, so something left your aura in your space that wasn't love, and it really
mm,
tripled the love.
mm.
That's good.
Now to get to the deeper meaning of that tweet, because it's layers to it.
There
You
we go.
know,
Break it down.
I done had experiences with my family, and we all have, where I know it's love because I got your back when it's ugly. I got your back even when it hurts me, and I got to show up for you. I done been through so many moments with my family where I had to show up, and it's just like, man, we in the mud, man. We in the mud. Like, it'd be tough for me to even speak because it get that deep, man. But I'm gonna share this with you, man, just because I'm on your show, man, and we just going
Bigger
there.
talks, man.
You
We
know what I'm
big talks,
saying?
man. Real talk.
Like, one of the things my older brother, who I talk about on the podcast sometimes, I told the audience, that he's incarcerated and different things like that. He struggled with mental illness. My brother growing up, he was like my hero. He was like my dad. My dad passed away. He took on that role, him and my other older brother. When my dad passed away, it took a toll on him, and he went through a lot of different changes. And one of the things that took place was he started to physically harm himself, right? So he was a little bit of an extremist. So he, if you were to see him now, he got like machete cuts all over his body. Looked like he'd been in the jungle getting attacked by lions. And it's even hard for me to talk about. But when we would be hooping at the school, he would come up to the school and he would come up with a short sleeve shirt on it, all his scars up there, and the dudes in the gym would look like, damn, just like, what the, and me and my older brother, we would just sit next to him and stand next to him, and we would just wish somebody would say something. And it's just like, it's those moments. And I could give you like moments where it's just 100 times higher than that. You know what I'm saying? Where you got to stand next to your brother, when you got to stand next to your family, and you like, this is what it is. And it's just like, even when it hurts you, even when the energy is against you, even when it's just like, yo, I know it's love because it's what I did when I didn't feel no love, when I didn't like you, man. Like, it was no reason for me to show up for you, but I knew that you my, you know what I'm saying? This is love. Like, it's like what my homie Tunji said, man, on our episode of Roundtable with Rev One. He said, man, if I can't win with you, he said, if we can't win, I lose with you. That's what love is, man. If I can't win, we're going to lose together.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody thinks it's about winning. It's like, bro, love is what you do when you can't win.
There we
How
go.
do you protect your partner when you can't win? How do you make it okay when we didn't get the thing that we thought we sought out to do? How can we make it okay for each other? So I think in a nutshell, just to try to condense it, man, like that's what that tweet was meaning when it hit me. It's just like, nah, man, like so many relationships are destroyed because we don't know how to be together when there's no love.
Yeah.
What about duty? What about legacy? What about commitment? Commitment is deeper than love. And that's what I was getting to in that tweet. It's just like, man, in the relationships in life, in the bonds and the connection in life, the only way we stay together is if love is not the thing that can tear us apart. The
Right.
absence of love cannot tear us apart. I'm gonna be with you regardless if I got butterflies in my stomach. You mine, like you my, I don't care if you my homie, you my brother, you my sister, you my woman, you my parent. Like, this is it. I don't care where the love goes. We always gonna be here. That's what that meant.
And I think, some people not ready for that type of love because it goes
Mm.
beyond love.
Ooh.
It goes beyond human comprehension because what
Mm.
I'm discovered in my life of relationships and just love in general, people bodies can't receive that type of love because their nervous system is not safe.
Mm.
Right? So just think when your partner or someone you're dating or you're with, they have a mental illness and it's really
Mm.
bad and they take medication, but you don't know. And they say, no, just leave me alone. You don't want to know who I really am. You don't
Wow.
know. I've been to mental health hospital. I take meds for severe anxiety. You don't want to know, but they're not telling you that. Their
Mm.
body, their energy is telling you. You're like, no, 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 come here. Where you going? Like, no, Ahmad, just go. You don't want to know. And you just stand there strong and sound like, no, I'm not going nowhere.
Mm.
Tell
Mm.
me everything. And they start breaking down, they start crying. And you start seeing the prescriptions in the cabinet. You start seeing the scars on their arm, and like you hugging them and they shaking them. It's like they're in their mind, they're like, how can this man love me? I don't even love me. Just get away from me. So they'll do everything in their power to sabotage it unconsciously because you don't make sense to their reality because it's too much love that they never experienced or felt in their soul. So they gotta push it away. And you're like, no, I'm the fire you need when you think the fire is out. I'm adding to it. I'm going to ignite you with my love. Come here. Cry. Be upset. Be anxious. Be depressed. I love you, and I'm learning that most of us, or some people in that space, they don't know how to be loved because not because themselves or their people. The world has told us that you can't be loved if you have a mental illness. The world told us you can't be loved if you don't look a certain way, if you don't have a certain social class. And you're like, fuck that. We breaking through the chains. I love you anyway. I'm standing in the fire. I'm standing in the rain. What's up? So I'm learning that a lot of people that run into someone like you, they don't know how to receive the water that's coming out of your cup. It's because your water is purifying them, but for them it's burning them because they don't know how to receive it, right?
Mm.
Because their cup is not ready for it just yet because it's like this water is too potent, it's too alkalized. What? My cup is dense and dirty, and you're like,
Mm.
no, come here, bring the cup, I got you. But it's like the water is really pure, but they like, you know how you like, and it's like, no, receive. It's okay. It's kind of like when you go pick up a pet or a dog who's been rescued, and it's like in fear, and you're like,
Yes.
what to do? And it's like, no, 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 it's okay. It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. Just tell me more. And then the next thing you know, they're crying and they get all out. Maybe an hour go by, and you're like, you okay? Yeah. You want to go get some food? Yeah, get some food. That's love. You know what I mean? Because you stood in the fire when they thought it was over. Remember, you just said it. You stood in the fire when they thought it was over because you
Mm.
was committed to love and not their paradigm they was living from.
Mm.
Their paradigm didn't stop your love. Your love was like, no, 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 I'm right here.
Man.
So, I mean, the way you broke it down to like you helped me understand more of what real love really is, unconditional love, agape love. And
Mm.
people talk about it, but people when they experience it is a different ballgame. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's just like one thing that hurts people from loving in those moments unconditionally is like, my homegirl wouldn't put up with this. My homeboy wouldn't put up with this. What do you love?
Right.
Resonate with you. That's the thing that always messes them up.
Yeah.
That always stops love. When you considering how other people gonna show up in this moment. You in this moment. This is just us in this moment. And it's just like, man, you just hit me, man. Like,
It's
woo,
because it's
yeah,
real. I experienced that with a person. I know what it's like when people running from, yeah, I got a lot to give and you might
yeah.
not be ready for it. And it's okay, but
Mm,
love ain't going nowhere. Now that might not be a part of your life like I once was or how we might have thought we should have been. But guess what? My love is still in you and on you, no matter where you go.
mm,
You ain't gotta
mm,
be with me, but that's how much I love you. So you're gonna know when you get in that dark moment again, my love gonna still be there and you're gonna think of me.
mm.
I ain't run when it got hot. I stayed in the fire with you. We got cold together. You know what I mean? And no
Mm,
one can break that chain.
mm,
So, and sometimes separation is for elevation, and sometimes what's good to us is not always good for us. And I tell
mm.
people, like, sometimes you got to have discernment, and you got to know when it is time to leave, because leaving too is love. You know what I'm saying? Saying no
Yeah,
is love too, because you're
yeah.
committing to a higher self outside of yourself that's going to make that person better and you better. But if
Mm,
you stay, you might really just hurt both parties.
mm.
But people don't have that information because they're holding on to something they're afraid to release, because maybe it needs to be released so we all can be free and then we can come back. Someone said something earlier today. I was on social media. I think someone put a meme. I was like, the real ones always come back. She's like, look at J Lo and Ben, and look at Nelly and Ashanti. They come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They come back, you know. But it's a beautiful thing when we can learn and we can go through the stages and the phases and learn life lessons. I want to move to this next quote because this one was powerful. I'm like, man, what is brother's like tuned into a whole nother portal when he's talking. So
Mm,
March 28th, you're right. The only reward for faking strength is more burdens from more people. Relief is the reward for honesty and boundaries. I'm like, huh?
mm.
Can you recall that moment when you wrote that? Like, what were you going through? What was the moment where the only reward for faking strength, the acting like you're strong, you just put more burdens on from more people. The real relief is just really honesty, which is authenticity, and setting clear boundaries on where you really are.
Mm.
How do you unpack that tweet? Because that's deep.
My brother, I'm telling you, if you really pay attention, a lot of those tweets that I put out on my page happened over the last 2 years. And it wasn't that I didn't have, thoughts going on in my head. It's just I did a lot of videos. When thoughts would come in my mind, I would put it out in videos. But my thoughts began to become even deeper and more profound. Like I said, when I was in my previous relationship, I went through so much great moments and low moments at the same time, which just like it sparks so much intense thoughts. Because I'm a perfectionist and I always want to be better. I'm always willing to face myself. And being in a relationship is like a mirror. And, not only will your woman mirror you, she will mirror you in a way where it's just like you can only see you. And then you begin to see yourself in her like, okay, I understand why I'm getting this in my reflection. And yeah, that tweet, bro, it was really just more so just about thinking about like how we showing up and it's like can you repeat the tweet? My bad. I'm trying to get the
No, it's
exact
cool.
quote
You
right.
channeling right now. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
he's a channeling people. He channeled these tweets from his higher self. The only reward for faking strength is more burdens from more people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Relief is the reward for honesty and boundaries.
So in my previous relationship, it was so many different moments where I was under so much intense stress because that's why I even brought up the reference. I'm like, why did I went off on that tangent?
Yeah.
It's because it was so many moments in that, and I feel like I'm saying too much, but now you got me.
You gotta let it out because the cosmos need it. We need it in the collective. We're gonna heal a soul. I promise you.
Oh man. So it was really just moments where I felt like I had a lot on my plate, and I could not get relief because I didn't know how to ask for help or to even say that it's too much on my plate
Yeah.
because I never saw my dad do that. And my dad might have done that. I just never saw it. So my dad not being here, he can't tell me the upgraded level beyond a 10-year-old perception of what a man is. So my perception of what a man is from a 10-year-old perspective. So it's very stoic. It's very, I don't want to say inhumane. It's not realistic in a way, in a certain aspects. So I will take care and provide for everything. I will take the brunt of everything. And I will not express what I'm going through internally until I'm at a breaking point. And it's just like, that's not healthy for nobody, man. At the end of the day, if you want relief, you have to be authentic. People can show up for you. And that's another thing that I used to always say, like, you can never be surprised unless you become vulnerable. Sometimes people are like, man, I'm not going to say this because I know how they're going to react. People can surprise you when you're vulnerable. you're always going to have that same perception if you're not willing to be vulnerable. In the moments where I will be vulnerable, just say the truth, man, this is how I'm feeling. I will always be surprised. It would always go left when I thought it was going to go the other way, or it would always go right when I thought it was going to go left. And it's just like, wow, I love you even more because I was vulnerable. And instead of doing what I thought you was going, it's completely different way. And it's just like, oh, I'm relieved now. But imagine if I just wanted to be seen as the stoic guy, relief is never going to come unless I'm honest, unless I'm vulnerable. Once I'm vulnerable in everything in my life, even at work, when I'm doing my work and it's just like, they want me to produce X amount and it's just like, yo, my granny just died last week. When I'm vulnerable, the relief comes. Now you can understand why the product is this. Now you can understand this. And I'm not here to make excuses, but at the end of the day, vulnerability makes everything make sense. Because my lack of production might look like disrespect. My lack of production might look like I don't love it anymore. But at the end of the day, I'm going through something. So when I'm vulnerable, it allows me to be relieved from what you expect of me and what I feel the anxiety of what the world expects of me. You know what I'm saying? Like vulnerability just lets the weight go.
It's a superpower, and it allows others to learn compassion and grace for others. And at the timing of this, 2 days ago, I had a buddy of mine, a childhood friend, man, hit me up. You know how you can see, I'm on FaceTime running, and I can see his face. I'm like, I'm gonna hit you back in like 10 steps. So I hit him and said, bro, what up? He like, put his hand on his face, body language. Man, I just got a summons on my door, man, talking about, I'm a month and a half behind on my rent. They cut my gas and electric off. I said, okay, that's what's up. I said, what's going on? Talk to me. I don't know, bro. I said, let me tell you something, man. I said, I'm your friend, right? What you need? Tell me the numbers. I said, I got you. And I said, hey, what? Look, I'm your friend. If you can't call me and ask me for help, then why are we friends? I know you since I was 10. So what I did was I went on FaceTime. I FaceTime all our childhood friend. Hey, bro, he needs some money. Send him some money. And I said, hey, next time don't ever be afraid to ask help. I said, don't let your pride kill you. Be vulnerable. He started crying. I said, cry. I said, yeah, that's what it's about. That's what we need. So then I called some other people. I said, hey, Cash App him. Call him the next day. I said, man, how you feel? I said, your lights back on. I said, feel good, right? I said, it feel good to get support. Like, yeah, man, it just feel good to talk to someone when you're going through it. I said, man, don't ever let money or bills take you out of who you are. This life is made up as a simulation. Don't give it too much power, man. I said, what's the worst going to happen? You got to go back home? You still got your life. So again, because he was vulnerable and he could trust I wasn't going to judge him, he got relief and everything got taken care of. All because he opened his mouth. And he had it. And I said, listen, I said, bro, we from B-More. Everybody in the neighborhood grows up with that mentality of being stoic. I'm good. You ain't good right now, bro. So guess what? It's all right. I think it's good for people not to see you not good because it's time for them to help. It's time to see who they are. And I said, guess what? We good. I said, so you're going to always remember. I said, sometimes you need a breakdown and have a breakthrough. And I said, this is your breakdown. But you need it because if you don't have it, you can't grow. So to go back to what you were saying, he had relief because I made him feel comfortable letting it out. Let it out. What else you need? You good? You got some food? I said, bro, I've done that before. Never doing that. And so at the end of the day, this is why these conversations are valuable. And we need to have these meaningful conversations because we got to get out of this space where I'm good when we really not. We tell a person, hey, Ahmad, bro, I'm not good today, man. Can we cancel the podcast interview? No problem, brother. Get your rest. I'll holler at you another time. And your shoulders drop. You know what I'm saying? So, speaking, you're a life speaker, bro. You speak life. And I think that right there, just those little subtle moments of authenticity with anybody will make the relationship 10 times stronger. Because now we know, if I know you're not going to leave yourself behind by telling me your truth, then you can never leave me behind because you never lied to yourself about how you was doing when you talk to me. And so we got to make it okay and comfortable for us men to be like, man, I'm struggling, bro. I don't know what to do. Help me out. You know what you think? But with no resistance, right? Because then we start having these conversations to be normal. Yo, I'm about to break up with my girl, man. Like I'm hurting. And we think it's a bad thing to be hurt, to have contrast, to have pain, but it's actually the best thing in your life. Because if you go
Mm,
back to the Big Bang Theory, all that was light. And we wanted some darkness to experience life.
mm,
Right?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
what's a relationship if you don't have contrast, if you don't have challenge, if you don't have disputes, if you don't have things? There's no, I told people a relationship is not shared space. A relationship is shared truth.
Mm,
We have a real relationship when we're sharing our truth, right? Then we can grow. But if we're not bringing, like you said, my real self to it, I can't sustain the greater potential of it because I'm not coming with the truth. I'm coming with the half truth. No, I'm
mm,
cool, but I'm really not. So I think speaking to your point of the relief comes from honesty. The relief comes from where you at. I don't gotta fake it no more. For who? Not he was like holding buddy was holding back his cry. I said, man, what you holding back for, man? What you trying to hold him back for? It's me. I'm your boy. Let him out. Let him flow. You're gonna feel better.
mm,
I said, feel good, right? To cry. I said, man, that makes you a man, bro.
mm,
You cry with no resistance, that makes you a man. Holding him in makes you a boy. Giving him
mm. Yeah.
know that it's just like it's the other way around. Why we think it's so much killing in the inner cities and from our peoples because there's no sympathy for being real. Like I'm hurting people because I'm hurt and I don't know how to be hurt and voice it. So I want to move into the topic of the state of the Black culture, the urban community, the paradigm of our where we raised, what is your ideology of it, or where do you see it being right now? I mean, you speak a lot on different topics, but where do you see as far as this collective of where we at to where we can go, and what you think is happening or what could happen to make things greater in the future for everyone?
It's layers to it. So it isn't one answer because it's completely different worlds. It's multiple worlds that exist in every community and in this world. There's multiple worlds, but in the Black community specifically, there's multiple worlds. And in a lot of other communities that I've interacted with, it's multiple different worlds. In the Black community, you have an affluent Black community. That's a whole world that's worried about creating generational wealth and putting a foothold that can keep us out of the underworld that we grew up in. So we're trying to stay out of the underworld. So some people graduate and come out of the underworld and get into the higher upper class of society, and they don't want to go back down to where they come from or experience that, which rightfully so, right? So I would say there's a large portion of that, large portion of financial literacy that's been floating around, large portion of financial talk, that sips into the relationships. Nobody wants to be, impoverished or, a part of the lower class or whatever the case may be. So that seeps into the relationship dynamics that we see on social media, which I don't really think is realistic. For a lot of people, I don't even think most relationships even have those different conversations for real. Like, man, regular people getting with regular people and loving each other to the best of their ability. I believe 90% of our community is doing that. It's another 10% who's just, on social media, on podcasts, or actually is living that life in real life, and God bless them. Then there's, like I said, the underworld or the lower class of our community who are experiencing on a day-to-day basis, they're experiencing the war zone, right? And the crazy thing about this is even the people in the upper class have experienced the war zone, and they're experiencing the PTSD of the war zone. The people in the trenches are experiencing the constant stimulation of the war zone. So they haven't even got to the point where they make it out and then they have to see a therapist. So they make it out and then they're seeing it come out in their relationship to the point where you're a 6-figure, 7-figure earner, but you're spazzing out at home or you spaz out at work, a la Will Smith at the Oscars, which is just an example of something that's happening in a larger scale on a smaller level, you know what I'm saying? Or in smaller spaces of people who come from environments where they dad might have put their hands on their mom. So now you trigger in a way to make it some type of reaction because of what you experienced in the underworld in that war zone. So I interact with those in the underworld in the war zone very often because I worked at my old high school mentoring a lot of young boys. So a lot of them, even though I don't work at the high school anymore, I still keep in contact with. I still see them on a weekly basis. I still take them out to have lunch. I still take them out to have dinner. I still, pick them up to go to the park and shoot hoops and just stay constantly engaged in their life. We had a core group of maybe 6 boys who started the summer camp with us. And then as we graduated and started working during the school year, because we used to just do the summer camp only during the summer, the group got larger. But that core group of 6, I always stay in contact with them. And those who I interact with or I see around or who reach out to me, I'll interact with them. But my core group, I keep in contact with them. So I know what's going on in our community. I live in the community, so I understand what's going on. And it's just like, that's a completely different world. We're not worried about high value men or any. They worried about getting another meal. They worried about something that happened to them with somebody. It's so much trauma going on in these households, man. Just all types of stuff going on in the households. Family trauma, just the struggles of as a young man trying to battle seeing your mom break down and seeing your mom not be able to provide for herself and the family the way she wants to. And now you're faced with an energy inside of you that says, I gotta fix that problem by any means. You know what I'm saying? You might not be old enough to get the job you want, or maybe you can only get a summer job and it's the middle of the winter and it's an energy in you that's boiling up for you to do something. So now you hitting me or you hitting somebody else, and now we can't even help you the way that we want to help you. So now it's an energy that's pulling on you. Nobody can help me. It's just an energy. So now the energy got to go somewhere. So I'm just, hey man, what's going on? I just need to talk. So now we walking through downtown at night, just, man, it's going to, now we crying, now we releasing. And it's just like, listen, bro, whatever you need, man, I'm going to help you to the best of my ability. I was there. I was where you were. I was where you are right now. Hearing my mama cry. I was there, so I understand it. You just want to explode. You just want to destroy something. You just want to take because you feel like the world that you was brought in, you feel like you was done so wrong. You didn't choose this life. Why wasn't we born with all these resources? This makes no sense. This is not fair. My brother, it's not fair. It isn't fair. But at the end of the day, we gotta do what we can do to make it to another day because the blessing is tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow comes with. And I always used to tell them that, like, I always tell the young boys, like, man, we never know what tomorrow comes with. My life changes it by the day. By the day, opportunities hit me, man. I connect with people every day, and it's just like, yo, I'm now the next day I'm in California doing something. Like it changes every day. My brother, you don't know what can happen. You know what I'm saying? By the day. So, bro, as far as the Black community, it's so many different worlds. And the world that I live in is the world that I want to add and contribute to and help and build up. Everybody can worry about that other, but I'm in the underworld. I'm working with the students, and I'm working with the young men, and I'm working with the community to build those who have the anxiety, to build those who have the low self-esteem, the lack of vision, right? And the reason I'm doing that is because that is my life's work. That is my passion. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I speak in the way that I speak. It's funny because a lot of people who watch my videos and stuff, they might not know that I can speak in a more concise and precise way, kind of like the way I write,
Yeah.
But I've trained myself to speak in a way that is receptive to my community. I don't want to speak in a way where I'm just using so many big words. And it's just so, if you watch certain interviews, I might do that at times. You know what I'm saying? And I do it at times unconsciously. It's just the way our vocabularies are built. But I try to speak in a way that can touch my people. That's one thing that Spank used to always tell me about. He like, bro, because the first couple of episodes, I was just real, like, in like my box. He just, bro, you got to be you, man. If you feel like this, you got to be you. And then when I started doing that, I feel like we hit another gear because he just like, bro, you can't be afraid of what, the community that you come from, because I come from the Muslim community from, Islam. So it's just like certain things you can't say, certain things. So it's just like, he's just like, bro, you just got to speak in a way that the people can understand. You know your truth, you know your heart, you know your intentions. So yeah, man. But yeah. But we doing good, bro. I believe the positive outweighs the negative.
I don't know if you put it out on your page. Someone had it. I think it was is it Newsy Muhammad? He's from the nation. I'm getting it right.
Nuri.
Yeah, Nuri. So he put out a video that somebody else shared, and it was the Obama effect.
Yeah.
Obama effect was they had a bunch of kids before he was elected to take a test. 80% of them. the children failed.
Mm,
And after Obama was elected, 80% of the people who took the test again passed. And so basically his
mm,
person was saying that it wasn't about that they learned anything new. They did
mm,
anything new. The representation was new. Therefore, they had confidence that they could do more and better because they can see it. Most times where we come from, people go off what they see, not what they know. So I've always anchored myself in, okay, I'm gonna be it. So my nephews and people looking up know they can do it.
mm.
Because when I didn't go pro in ball, I told you before, I had to go pro in life. And so the
Ooh.
books, the podcast, the conversation, articulation, the code switching, the slang, however you want to do it, however you want to show up, you want to argue, you want to speak low, you want to get
Mm,
back. I can do it all, right? But
mm,
only to show our brothers and sisters and the people that's looking up to us that you can be it. You don't always have to do it to be it. You can just be it and then you do it. But I
mm,
think when we talked about passion, like you say, you're passionate about the world you're in, the underworld, helping the people is because that's your passion. And most times in our community, we put the money before the passion. So then if the money comes before the passion, we try to get the money and then come back to the passion, but then we lost the passion from the passion because we got the money. We make
Ooh.
the passion an intention, the money will follow the passion. But we get so fixated on having the bag that the bag dilutes the passion when we get it because we lost touch of what the passion was, right?
Mm,
Because we numbed ourselves. But
mm,
if you keep the passion where the passion is and you give it the love, like you said, when it's in a hard place, you keep loving this passion. Guess what? The money, the real money, gonna come, and then the money gonna be authentic money. It's not gonna be fake real money. Get what I'm saying? Because now
mm,
you get the money, now you want to come spend it with us, but we don't even respect your money anymore because your passion left your soul.
mm,
And sometimes life gets that way, and it's not bad; it's just real. And we got to kind of recalibrate and come back. Say, hold on, let me put my feet back in the ground. Sometimes I got to leave LA and go back to be more to get back in the energy. I got to remind myself where I come from. I don't
mm.
ever forget and get it twisted. I know what's up. I
Yeah.
know the slang. Yo, Sade, what up,
Mm,
boy? Like we talk a certain way. It's a slang. So that brings me back into the vibration of the underworld. Like, yeah, we used to
mm,
get the chicken box from here. We used to get the half and
mm.
half. We used to go to Mama's and get the penny candy. We used to flip off of, monkey bars and the mattresses. Like, like that's real life. That was real life for me at one point.
Mm,
Better, it makes me different because and relatable because I get it. So I just think what you're saying is beautiful because there are so many different layers, so many different cultures. And here's the thing: just because we black doesn't mean we grew up the same. Just because we black doesn't mean we think the same. Because sometimes
mm,
our culture want to put us in a box, like, nah, homie, that's not my path. That's your path. My
mm,
path is different. So my path is to go be it. So when you see it, you know you can do it because of
mm,
this. Because
mm,
most people, 80% of people going off what they see, not what they know.
mm.
He can do it. I can do it. And so that's what I think you're doing with your content, your podcast, and just how you show up. Let's talk about the benefits of content creation and what is content creation to you and how do you use it as a vehicle to not only feed the passion and give it passion, but to kind of evolve your passion and evolve yourself because you put out a lot of content. What is it for you in your life?
Brother Ben X is something he says, and it's something that I always understood when I started making content. You have to give value. Your content has to give value to people. Whether you're cooking, right? Let's say a content creator, they cook, but they only show the finished product. You're not bringing value to anybody. You're stimulating people, but you're not bringing value. But if you show us how you put it together and prepared it and what you put into it, then you bring value to people because you show people how they can produce something that'll give them that same feeling in their own life. So I have to give value. So I'm not just showing a nice car, showing a nice watch. I'm showing. That's what the value of this is. I literally started putting out content when I was a junior in college, and then you guys saw me grow from a junior in college to a senior to graduate to move to Atlanta to work on shows in Atlanta, move to North Carolina, continue to work shows there, move to Detroit, buy my own studio, continue to do more shows, interview bigger guests, like y'all seeing it just like you're saying, like you have to see it in order to know you can be it.
Right,
Like
right, right.
that's what all this is
And that's what
about.
gave me faith to know you could go and come on a podcast and give me this. Because I saw,
Mm,
your content was like, the more I saw it, the more I believed it. Because the more
mm,
people you are, the more confidence you gave me about how you
mm,
think. So that's
Mm,
why us in this position, and anybody, if you have a passion, constantly put it out. Don't worry about perfecting it because perfection is not real. Our real
mm,
life right now in real time, you and I are on the podcast. I'm on Zoom, you on Zoom, I'm on a Mac or whatever. We're not on social media right now. This is real life. This is the real,
mm,
and it's beautiful because this we got to do more of this. We got to connect in the moment. We can't worry about how it look or how it come out because that's not authentic.
mm,
Authenticity is what you think. What
mm,
that's what not how you should think because of who's going to see it. Like your boy was saying, you got to be you, bro.
mhm,
And it's beautiful because your content has reached so many people that you inspire so much change in people that you don't even know. And
mm,
that's why I said the fact that you said that, brother Ben X, telling you like, you can't just show people the finished process of the food. What's the ingredients? What it
mm,
took to get the groceries and how did you cook it? What type of environment were you in? Was it hot in the kitchen? Like, you know what I mean? Give me the whole thing. Give me the whole
mm,
setup. And value is always needed in the world that we live in because sometimes, the value can be distorted, especially if the
mm,
energy ain't in alignment of what they're saying. Like you can hear people talk, but it's not catching you because the frequency behind it's not real. It's ingenuine. It's only to get some likes and some comments or some reaction, but it's not authentic. It's just for that moment because I want this attention, right?
mm,
So, they always say some people don't want help, they just want attention.
mm,
And that's what social media does sometimes unconsciously to all of us. I mean, I've used it for that. I want attention. But then I'm like, what am I doing? What am I really doing? And I've been putting
mm,
out content for ages. But as I've grown and realized, like every time I pray, bro, and I pray before I wake up, I ask God to use me in such a phenomenal way. God allowed me to post the right content at the right time, that it impact the right people, strengthen my vibration, strengthen my frequency that I hit and heal. God work through me, work with me, work for me. Let's win. Boom.
mm.
So now my content is that much enriched because I done put some energy on it. I'm not just going to my phone and like, I think this would be cool. Let me put this quote up. It's coming to me to put the quote up, opposed to me thinking I should put the quote up, right?
Mm,
And another thing I love about what you do is I can tell you're a thinker, and I think the challenge in most people's lives is not that they're not thinking; they don't know how to think. What is your relationship on how to think about the content you create, and how do you get your thoughts to write? Where do they come from? Because before we got on the podcast, we talked about you dream a lot, but how do
mm,
you manifest your thoughts to create content to go viral? And even with like something simple as you can go to ancestral plane page and you'll see something with, I don't know, Denzel Washington or something. And like, how do you know to grab that piece of content to put that music and put that 22-second clip out?
mm.
Like, where do you get that from? Like, who called you to do it like this and that? Like, how do you embody all that? Like, where does that ideology come from for you?
Yeah, my brother, that's another great question. I really can't say that I know exactly where that comes from, and if I could, I would tell you where it comes from. It's just a vibration. That's all I can say. When I hear people talk, I hear music, right? So when I hear you talk, classical music is playing in my head, so I know exactly the track to put on you. I got like 10 tracks in my head. So
Really?
my catalog of classical music is so extensive. So when I hear people talk, I hear music. You know what I'm saying? So even before our shows, sometimes I play a song. I'll sit down before we on and I'll play a song for Spank and I'll say, "This is the track. So when you speaking, hear this." So I play it before because I'm like, this is the track I'm gonna use for our clips. So when you speaking this energy. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be good for me to do it in clips. So anytime I hear people talk, I have a soundtrack for them. I have a score for them. Like, oh man, yeah, that's the one. He's speaking in that way. Or the energy's revved up. And I'm like, okay, I see it's coming now. It's coming. So that's just how my energy works. So I used to watch interviews and I'm just like, yo, what will make this interview just another level if I could put this soundtrack in it. So then I just started making clips and I just started putting them out. Then I came across the Agape song by Nicholas Brittle, and Tracy Ellis Ross had posted it on one of her, or she had reposted a post of this black couple kissing, and this is like years ago, like 5, 6 years ago. And I remember I heard the song for the first time, and I was like, "Yo, that is probably the greatest song I've ever heard in my life." I'm like, "Yo, I got to just put the song in my clips that I'm putting out," and when I started doing that. Whew, skyrocket. Not only did I make that song the like household hit that it is, because a lot of people don't even know that. Like when I first came across that song, it was not as big as it is now. And one thing I will always appreciate Wallow for, is he got on Drink Champs and he was like, because Nas had sampled that score in one of his songs that he did with Lil Durk on the King Disease one, I believe. And he was like, man, my man Muhammad, he made that sample hot, man. He made that sample hot on the Ancestral plane. He says it at the end of his Drink Champs interview if you go back and watch it. And I remember hitting him afterwards, like, man, people just kept tagging me on my Instagram, like, yo, man, Wallow, he shouted you out. And he never said nothing. He never texted me like, bro, I shouted you out. It was just ran. And that just showed like when people got love, it's just like they're gonna do it and they ain't gonna even acknowledge what they did. And I'm just like, yo, because a lot of people have made contributions in life and they'll never get the credit for it. And it's not even important to get the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not my score or my music. But I definitely have an ear for music. You know, it's kind of why I make music now. I produce music. I play the piano, different things like that. Because I have an ear for music.
Yeah, so I'm just, as you talking, I'm channeling, things are coming through. So take it or leave it, man. Honestly, bro, I don't know how you feel about it because you're so creative and so tuned and tapped into the cosmos, into the frequencies of music and people and speaking. I think this would be a great business model to market a consultant company where people pay you, they create the videos and they send you the videos. You come up with the music, where to put the music in the clip. And I don't know, you can do 20 videos for 3,000. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's a gift, bro. Like, I don't know there's a lane for that. Like, you have companies that'll take your stuff and they'll add music, but they're not intentional like the way you are. Like, I'm thinking, like, if I sent you 5 videos right now, out of those 5, you probably can at least make 2 or 3 go viral just off of how you tuned into what you know, right? So just like some, some heavyweights. So just think about some people who trying to on a come up. Like, bro, I can make that. Just give me 10 videos. Give me a trial run. Like, just give me 10 videos. You ain't gotta pay me. And if they go, let's work. Let's do business. You know what I mean? I just think like, because now you're really activating that gift in the spiritual realm and in the physical with people. Now you're giving people. It's kind of like you're giving people a haircut, or you giving them a fit for their costume or for their uniform that they're putting together. You get what I'm saying? You're really producing their content. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like a producer.
That's how you thought about music when you're creating content. Like, that's powerful. I didn't even know you was into music. That's why I'm asking the questions, because I'm like, hold on, like, what? You hear classical music playing when someone's speaking? So imagine you did that for the Tracy Ellis Ross. That score went crazy. Imagine not only you benefiting, but everybody involved benefit. Now we got people on retainers. Now they're paying monthly because I said, bro, 10 videos a month, bro. And it changed my life. I got brand deals. I'm speaking all over the world, all because of you used your gift on their gift and you amplified their spirit in the world. Now everyone's winning. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's a real thing, bro. That's what I did for Rev One. Literally, just exactly what you're saying.
Because it was like some clips. I think I hit you a while ago. I'm like, yo, can you find this video? Because I was actually going through the exact thing the guy was saying, but the music behind was pulling me. Like, I was like, yo. And so I get into like, not the antics, but like, you know how you got beats, but the music or the instruments behind the beat. Like, there's something before that, right? Like, we create energy before we create something, but you can't see the energy, so you don't respect it, right? And I just think, yeah, man, that gift, bro, you gotta exercise that, man. Like, even with some of your homies, I mean, because I'm curious, like, oh, if I just send you 5 videos, see what you think, you know? But yeah, I'm blown away, man. See, but that's why I wanted to tap into your thinking, how you think. Now it makes sense why your page got 400,000 followers, bro.
Almost, yeah.
You got 400,000 followers on Ancestral Plane. Like, that's your Instagram page. You created that with your energy and your aura. And you got 20,000 on your page. So clearly you're doing something right. It's not easy to just build pages, but this is all per, your gift and what you know. So, I know it's late on your end, man. I don't want to take too much of your time. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to say? Anything you got coming up? Where can we find you? How can we connect? Like, how do we get in your vibration and your frequency so we can just benefit from your gospel, man, of your course or your of who you are? Like, I feel like you have a music, what is the thing you have at the sympathy, right? How do you say it?
Yeah, symphony, yeah,
Yeah, I
orchestra.
feel like
Yeah,
you have that in your vibration. So like when you create content, it's like it's doing something to people's like energy like this, and people get more inspired by it. And I appreciate it. But how can we connect with you? How can we get into your frequency to learn more, build more, and you know, be of service to you?
first and foremost, bro, I appreciate you having me on, bro. This has been a powerful conversation, man. And every time we connect, bro, it always does something for my soul, bro.
Mhm.
Um, I feel lighter, man. I feel energized.
Yeah.
I feel better, bro. And it's exactly like what you said, man. I feel like you was in my soul group, bro. As soon as we connected, I'm just like, bro, this brother is genuine, man. And he always just gives good energy. He always gives value. He's just a uplifter of people, bro. I really appreciate you, man. Like you have no idea, man. Like you are one of the people that I'm glad I connected with. And it's just like, man, I know we're going to continue to build, you know what I'm saying, as time goes, man, because I want us to be able to elevate and shed light on the people together, you know what I'm saying? Even, bro, it's just so much that we're going to do, bro. I can
We're gonna be
see it,
on
man.
stages. Yeah, we're gonna be on stages,
Yeah,
selling out arenas. Yeah.
you read my mind, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't put together certain events, like, speaking events. And I'm just like, now that I think about it, I'm like, bro, I should have had you at that event. When I was working for the nonprofit, I would do different speakers events. I'd fly people out and stuff like that. But yeah, bro, we gonna do great things, man. But in terms of following me, man, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at _ Ahmad, Ahmad, the poet. Or you can follow us on Instagram at BR the Machine or on Twitter at BR the Machine. Watch the podcast Breaking the Machine. That's where you're gonna get the majority of the information and just great conversations that I have with my co-host Spank. Man, some of the greatest conversations, man, you'll ever hear. Breaking the Machine podcast, man. Go check that out, man. But yeah, man, as far as me, bro, like I said, man, I'm really just trying to sharpen myself and strengthen myself for this next phase of my journey. And I'm really excited for people to continue to walk with me on my journey, man. I'm really looking forward to upgrading my content on Instagram in terms of buying a better camera and stuff like that, and starting to edit more intensely so I can give the people the content that's been in my mind for a while. I've been working on a book for a while. I've been talking about it on the podcast for a long time. And that's one of the biggest reasons I pivoted into producing, because I want to produce the soundtrack for the audio book. I want
oh,
it to be like an audio series, and I want to narrate it.
we
And
can work something out, man. I would love to do
mhm.
like some spoken word or like some, I don't know, but I feel like you can help me produce that when the time is right.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, absolutely, bro. Like that's just what I'm focused on. So when this series come out, and I've been teasing it on Breaking the Machine, it's a self-help book that I'm putting out, and then it's also going to be a murder mystery that I'm going to put out based on a real crime that took place in my city. It was serial stabbing that took place in my city. It's well known in the city, but not around the world. So I
Wait,
kind of want
this is in Flint?
Flint, yeah, yeah. 14 black boys was stabbed. So it was targeted on black boys, and it's a story that's not very well known. It happened while I was in middle school. So I lived the experience. I'll be a part of the story, not in the same name, but my writing prowess and my skills is going to be enhanced in this story. And we're going to be touching on just the way I narrate the story. I should send you a sample of it. You be like, yo, like,
I want to
shit,
step in.
from the music to the narration. I don't know if you've ever watched Riverdale, but I really love the way I believe it's Cole Spruce, or either him or Dylan, his brother Dylan, the way they narrate the show. I narrate my book in that way, in a similar ilk. It's just beautiful, man. So I want to be able to narrate it. I want to be able to produce it. And I just want, when you're listening to it at night or in the morning, it feels like you're immersed in an audio movie. And it's just the beautiful, greatest thing you've ever heard, man. So yeah, man, be on the lookout for that, man. But more than anything, man, just be calm in your spirit, and just know that it's going to be all right, and that your brothers and sisters is in this thing with you, man.
Beautiful, man. And I love that. And before we end, I want to end with one of your favorite quotes that I came upon today, and I'm going to say it so people listen, tune in, tap in. You know, here it is. God will make you untouchable when you're doing his work. Until your purpose is served, no man or woman can stop you. I'm saying it
Mm,
again. This is from Ahmad the Poet. Go follow him underscore Ahmad the Poet on
mm,
Twitter and Instagram.
mm.
God will make you untouchable when you're doing his work until your purpose is served. No man or woman can stop you forever and ever and always. Ahmad the Poet, thank you for being on Bigger Talks podcast. Shout out to
Congrats.
Simplify Impact, my marketing group who takes care of all my content creation on YouTube, Instagram, and by the way, get your It's Miracle Season hoodie at itsmiracleseason.co. If you want 50% off, hey, promo code MSeason, all caps. You guys be great. Follow Ahmad the Poet. He's incredible. He's a beautiful, beautiful soul. He's here changing lives with his vibration, his vibranium. And check out his podcast and just do the work, and it will work. So it
Yeah.
is. On and on. Ahmad, thank you.